Good evening, all of you. At the outset, I thank E-India and my friend Ishwar for giving this opportunity to be here. I'm just going to, because there are two modalities which I'm going to deal with. One is CT and MR, and I just give a brief outline of both the modalities, what are the innovations have taken place in the recent past. Interventions in the cardiovascular disease, and second is in radiology. In radiology, basically the MRI, the magnetic resonance imaging, and in CT. So there are two most important innovations which we have in the last 25 years. The ranking of all the 30 medical innovations, if you see all these, to start with, first is MR and CT, then we have ACE inhibitors, then balloon angioplasty, statins, mammography, coronary artery bypass graft, proton pump inhibitors and H2 blockers, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and new non-SSRIs, cataract extraction and lens implantation, hip and knee replacements, and lastly ultrasound and echocardiography. Though it is not very common in India, we see in the Western world, this is a very common thing, that this is the most important thing, because the machines going to the patient's doorstep, that's what the innovation is needed today. We have mobile CTs and MRs in abroad, especially in the UK, and where the patients can get scanned in their own area so that they can reach to, without coming to the major healthcare centers. That's a major innovation. And to start with MR, as all of us know, we start with permanent magnets, resistive magnets, and supercon magnets. And in supercons, the most important and commonly used today in clinical practice is 3T magnet, where we get very good information. As we know, MR is non-invasive, no radiation, multiplanar, and highly tissue sensitive. So it gives very good information to know various tiny lesions in the whole body. And apart from that, we know that MR gives a lot of noise inside because of gradients during the scan, though of late we have silent MRs where the noise level is very minimal inside the magnet room, and also the ambience, because it's a long tunnel, because when patient goes inside the tunnel, he feels claustrophobic. To prevent that, we have small length magnets. Also, we have wide bore magnets. So all the latest innovations where the patient's comfort is very important, and even the magnet room itself will be very pleasing for the patient to sit inside. Especially if you go for orthopedic imaging, there is an area where patient already has some pain in the joints. He can't able to lie down or continuously stay inside the magnet for a longer time. Now we have the magnets which suit the patient's position. That means if you are doing an imaging of the knee joint, you can have an flexion position, and various chairs kind of things are there. The magnets are made in these ways so that comfort level is increased. So we have all sorts of innovations where the patient comfort is the priority in these cases. The newer MR applications are the MR spectroscopy, FMR, we have MR angiographies, diffusion and perfusion, where basically when you want to study the tumors and infarcts, this very good modality or software. We have interventional and intraoperative MR. It is very common now. Intraoperative MR, though in India it is not practiced, in Western world it is very common, where inside the OT itself we have an MR where patient can be shifted into the MR during the surgery, and they can do scan, and the surgeon will know what's happening and how far the lesion has been removed. And we have the cardiac MR is very informative, the myocardial viability, everything can be seen in MR, and various body applications from head to toe we can do, and kinematic applications are the order of the day. MR perfusion, again, basically what we do is here, we try to see the area which is more perfused or less perfused. This is how we have to use contrast here, and we use generally rapid T2 weighted EPI sequence, which runs for about 60 to 90 seconds, where the multiple measurements of the gadolinium inside the area of interest is taken, and we can assess the area of interest. What are the various clinical applications? Mostly it is used in the stroke imaging and the imaging of the brain tumors. And any mismatch between the perfusion and DWI sequence will tell us what is the salvageable tissue available in the brain. And also in brain tumors like gliomas and metastasis, this is very useful to know the various imaging features of these modalities. Bold imaging is very useful to map and localize the brain areas which are responsible for a particular task. This is based on blood oxygen level dependent imaging, and deoxyhemoglobin causes drop in the signal on T2 or T2-weighted star image, where it gives information which area is involved in this. ASL, this is the latest innovation in MR, where we can image the tissue bed. We can see, especially in the infarcts and tumors, we can able to target the arterial blood supply by magnetic inversion pulses, and we know what exactly, which part of the tumor is more at the target area. CSF flow studies, especially in hydrocephalus, to know how the flow within the CSF spaces, and generally it is done with ECG gating, and phase contrast method is used, and this is a normal value. That's how the CSF flow analysis is being done to know the pressure in the CSF spaces. PET MR, now all these years we have PET CTs, now the days of PET MRs, though we don't have now right now, but abroad it is available, and few centers are coming up in the north where they are going to have a fusion of both PET and MR. It's very useful in the cardiology, oncology and neurology. And this is one of the cases where we can see in the mediastinum there is a large mass lesion, which is a PET MR. We can see the area of interest or the tumor area. And real-time MR, it has started the kinematics, and especially to evaluate the joints, we can really see how the joint ligaments and what is the movement, range of movements. And we also can see the speaking and swallowing, and we can have 3D images of this. And high-field MRs are the order of the day. Now we have, most of the places we have 3Ts, which give very good information, especially in FMR, that is the area functional MR, where we can evaluate the area of interest, especially in epilepsy surgeries. This is very important to know the eloquent areas. So we have the advantage of high-field magnets. And there are the few examples to show the DWI, how it helps to show, though the routine spinnaker image may be normal, but DWI picks up the area of interest, that means which is infarcted. Similarly, angiography, to know the various sinuses, major venous sinuses which are blocked or patent, to know accurately. And MR spectroscopy, to see the various peaks. Choline, this is a case of tumor, where you can see the choline peak is grossly elevated, to say it is a tumor. And MR neurography, because we can see the nerves very clearly, brachial plexus or sciatic nerve, everything we can see nicely, is a case of MR neurography showing a sciatic nerve schwannoma. Now MR, it's not just single part. We can do the whole body MR from head to toe. We can study it as like a whole body imaging of the MR. It's like in metastatic disease or in myeloma, to know the whole body, we can do MR this way. And kinematic imaging, yes, to study the various joints and ligaments and how the movements, the range of movements, everything can be done with MR. Coming to CT, the newer applications what we have in CT are volume rendering techniques, especially using 3D, and CT angiography. We can do the almost from single run, we can do from chest up to the dorsalis petralis level. And virtual CT, we can fly through the colon, or we can fly through the upper GI tract to know exactly various abnormalities in these areas, and cardiovascular and perfusion. So that's how the conventional CT used to look. And today, with the advent of MD CTs, everything is colorful. We know everything in detail. We can precisely localize the lesion, and it's very useful both for the clinician and the radiologist. And in case of cartilage aorta, post-stenting, we can see the all VIT image. It nicely depicts. It increases the surgeon's confidence level to know what exactly is happening and how to deal with the case. Similarly, a mass in a small neonate, we can see everything 3D, volume technique. We can color code areas and we can delete, we can subtract the bones, we can see soft tissues or vessels. Similarly here we can see the bones and other parts of the body. And to know the function, physiology, anatomy, everything we can use, and that is the status of CT today. And this is just a model to show the metastasis in the liver of a mouse to how clearly it can depict. And various vessels in the brain of a rat brain, we can see all the vessels so nicely with multi-directed CTs. CT perfusion, it really helps to know the area of cell death. So nicely we can predict. And there are various clinical applications of the CT perfusion, especially it is useful in the acute strokes and in the tumors. And then an example to show the CT perfusion. And dual energy CT is very useful to see the various densities in the body, especially, for one example, we can see the various clinical applications we have in the heart, liver, renal masses, renal calculi. We can know what kind of calculi the patient has by color coding, and also adenomas. A case of gout, we can see multiple tophi, which can be very well depicted with this one, dual energy CT. So luminal studies, we can see the fly through the various parts of the GIT. This is a case, we can see the, with 3D, we can fly through the whole colon, and it's almost like a colonoscopy what the clinician does. So virtual bronchoscopy, we can see the whole, the trachea, carina, bronchi, and their divisions. Everything can be seen. And mostly the important thing is low-dose CT. This is the very important nowadays because radiation is the one thing which we have to keep in mind. Low-dose CTs are required to know various abnormalities without compromising on the quality. To conclude, the various innovations in the field of MR and CT have revolutionized the patient management and also help the clinicians to know various tiny lesions which are available in the various parts of the body so that management can be done accordingly. Thank you very much.